Diagnosed with terminal cancer, not once, but twice. Once at the age of 13, and again when he was 16, Sean Swarner was read his last rites as a kid and given 14 days to live. After beating the odds and making a full recovery, he realized no challenge would ever be too great, no peak too high. After surviving, he began climbing, and he hasn't stopped since he began. Sean redefined impossible by becoming the only person in history to climb the highest mountain on every continent, trek to the South and North Poles, and complete the Hawaii Ironman, all with one lung.
I guess where I would like to start with our conversation is the fact that you are living.
Like, I was going to say alive, yeah.
Right? Just to be living, you have already accomplished so much. And that just by showing up, after being told that you only had 14 days to live, you've beaten all the odds against cancer, not once, but twice, and is only a child, is only a kid. Like, cancer in itself is a huge challenge. And after battling that and beating that, what in the world made you so hungry to go seeking and finding new challenges?
It's a great question. It's kind of funny how you started that, because I was on Clubhouse earlier this morning, and they were talking about what's a good day, what's a bad day, and I was like, I wake up, that's a good day.
Right.
A bad day, I don't wake up. So every day is a good day.
Right.
But what got me going to I guess push further and really I guess push the envelope and get out there and do some amazing things was exactly the fact that I was once given 14 days to live. I was read my last rites. So every morning I wake up, I literally am grateful for the fact that I have another opportunity to do, I guess, being realistic, to do what I didn't do yesterday, but also take advantage of today and make it the best day ever. And I tell myself that every morning. But I wanted to push the limits, and I really wanted to help other people believe in themselves, because I can't tell you how many people I see who are probably just on autopilot.
Yeah.
I've heard jokes about, because of the vid, so many people are saying, oh, it's like Groundhog Day, over and over again. Well, change it up, do something. This is a tremendous opportunity. Yes, it sucks. But if you embrace the suck and you understand that it's not going to get any better anytime soon, find something to do. Manufacture fun. Do something that you're passionate about. You've had an entire year now almost to learn a new language, play an instrument, do something, read 15 books, whatever it might be.
Right. I think that is going to be the quote of the day: embrace the suck.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love that. No, but you're right. That it has been an opportunity, and that's where perspective comes in. When it comes to perspective, in life there are survivors, and then of those survivors, you find thrivers. As a thriver, you are specifically a climber. I'm so curious to know, what was it specifically about the challenge of climbing that called to you?
That's a great question. And I think we'll have to go back to when I was in grad school. And I was in Jacksonville, Florida, when I was working on my master's and my doctorate. I wanted to be a psycho-oncologist. I wanted to be a psychologist for cancer patients because I had so much to offer. I had already been through it. And I know that cancer is not an individual disease. The whole family goes through it. So looking at it from two different perspectives of the patient and the survivor, I wanted to give back. But it was also, while I was going through those degrees, I did some introspection myself. And I realized I couldn't help somebody else until I helped myself. Mm-hmm. I'd get caught up in their emotion, their baggage, because I had my own baggage. I'd never dealt with it. So I dropped out of school and I thought to myself, okay, well, let's look back at my life and everything I've been able to accomplish after the 2 terminal cancers. And I realized, okay, I've been given a mind-body gift. Because I honestly believe that whatever you think and see and truly firmly believe, you can achieve. So I thought, okay, well, when I was going through my treatments, oftentimes I was hopeless. I didn't have anything. So I kept thinking of something bigger, something bigger, something bigger. Initially, I wanted to run across the country and visit local hospitals and share my survivorship story with the patients. And kind of tongue in cheek, like, well, that's a little too much running. So I decided, okay, it's too much training. Let's do something else. But I kept thinking bigger. And I eventually came up with the help of my brother, came up with literally the largest platform on Earth, which is Mount Everest. And I thought, well, I could use that as the highest platform in the world to scream hope. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. And then I want to say 9 or 10 months later, I climbed Mount Everest and became the first cancer survivor to do that. Not from Jacksonville, Florida. The first step I took was I packed up my Honda Civic and drove to Colorado, because I don't know too many mountaineers who live in Florida.
Right. So there's that. Yes.
Yeah, slight detail. In fact, I think the highest point in Florida is the top of the Four Seasons Hotel in Miami.
Right. So you needed some heights
Yeah.
around you. You had to be in that environment to move forward with that. So, wow. Can you explain? So I've never climbed a mountain. I mean, figuratively, I've climbed many, I suppose, but not a mountain. Can you explain to me what a climber's high is like? Like, what does it feel like to be that high? Like, what is that feeling? I know what a runner's high is. Is it similar to that, or what is it?
It's different, because I also do a lot of running. I've done the Hawaii Ironman triathlon as well.
Mm-hmm.
And when you experience extreme altitude,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like you're severely intoxicated, but you have no idea. Okay. So a perfect example, I take a group up Kilimanjaro every year as a fundraiser for a cancer charity. And you're more than welcome to go. I'd love to take you up there. Love to take you and anybody else who you want to come with us. It's 19,342 feet. And what happens is when your brain doesn't get enough oxygen, you start to feel a little delirious. But like I said, you don't know it. So a perfect example is I took a guy up there. We came back to the States. He sent me an email, and he asked me in the email, well, why'd you turn me around? Right. So I wrote back and I told him, I didn't turn you around. And this was on summit night. I was like, I didn't turn you around. You turned yourself around. And he goes, oh, okay. That's good to know, because I don't remember anything from midnight until 5 a.m.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So if you're not aware of what's going on and your brain's not getting enough oxygen, mm-hmm. because the higher you go, the less atmospheric pressure there is, the oxygen molecules are further apart. Yeah. You might not even know that you're incoherent.
Wow. Okay, so that just blows my mind in a couple of different ways. One of them is the keyword aware, having awareness ties, aware now. If you don't have that awareness, like you have no idea, right? And you can't act accordingly and whatnot. And so awareness in so many ways is so important always. Wow. So okay. Yeah. I'm going to take you up on that Kilimanjaro thing. Let me talk to Jack first.
Okay.
And because that sounds like a fabulous. You do this every year?
Every year. I've actually been to the summit of Kilimanjaro 20 times now. And it's not, it's no longer I can't say that. I was going to say it's no longer a challenge for me. It's always a challenge, but it's not about the challenge anymore. And I think you get to not an age, but a place in your life where, and I'm going to use Christmas as an analogy. You get to a place in your life where you get more out of giving gifts than you do receiving gifts. Mm-hmm. It means more to you to make someone else happy with whatever you got. Right. When I get people to the summit, when I guide people to the summit of Kilimanjaro, this is going to come out wrong. I like seeing them cry, right? But it's not tears of pain or sadness or anything. It's just they're so emotional when they get to the top. And I love seeing the transformation in someone's life. You're standing on top of literally the roof of Africa, and the crater opens up in front of you. The sunrise is coming up. You can kind of see the curvature of the earth, and you've been hiking since 11 p.m. And all of a sudden now you're standing on the roof of the world, accomplishing something that you have been training for months and months and months and months. And now your dream has come true. You know, all the effort, all the hard work, all the psychological prowess and determination has taken you to this point. And now you instantly believe in yourself and you think anything's possible.
Wow. That is amazing. Um, and I love how, at first it was the challenge of it, and now your satisfaction comes not from your physical challenge, but what you're able to help people physically take on as a challenge and endure and succeed with. And I think that's phenomenal.
Thank you very much. One of the
Oh,
key
no, no.
factors, I think one of the key factors is, so the success on Kilimanjaro is roughly 48%. So of all the groups ever attempting the mountain each year, it's roughly 48%. So 52% of the people don't make it.
Mhm.
We're at 98% success rate. Okay. And I think it's because I help people tap into their personal core values.
Mhm.
And we don't look at the mountain as a giant mountain that's unconquerable. First of all, you never conquer the mountain, you conquer yourself.
Right.
We break it down camp by camp, day by day. And then also when people are struggling on summit night, I'll remember, because I send out an email getting a questionnaire. I remember if they are motivated by tough love, by support, by something else. So if I see someone stumbling around or turning into a walking zombie because of the altitude and the cold and just being exhausted, I'll walk up behind them and I'll just say, hey, depending on what motivates them. Usually it's, hey, remember why you're here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then that'll trigger something because their brains are, again, oxygen deprived. But I think when people tap into their personal core values, that's when their true passion comes out and their purpose.
And that's a really interesting thing that you bring up. It's not enough to just have like motivation to do something, to understand your personal motivation to do something. And the fact that it is different for each of us and we respond to different things. So yeah, no, you have me thinking, what would motivate? A lot of that I'm thinking right now, just, in this idea of potentially doing Kilimanjaro with you. Of all the climbs that you've had, and there have been many, 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 do you have a favorite? It doesn't have to be like a favorite instance. I'm sure there's lots of favorites, but like, is there a particular, of the 7 continents, is there one particular place to climb that you love more than others?
I love Antarctica just because of how desolate it is. Not because of how cold, and I think it's beautiful down there. But I always keep going back to Africa and Kilimanjaro. You know, like I said, I've been over there so many times. I was actually adopted into what's called the Chugga tribe over there. And they're a group of indigenous people who live at the base of Kilimanjaro. They brought me into their culture. They're like my brothers and sisters now, and they gave me a Swahili name and everything.
Oh my gosh, what an incredible experience. So well, you've already climbed all of these mountains, all these peaks all over the place, and it doesn't seem like you can go any higher. What's next in terms of climbs for you?
Ooh. 2 years ago I got married. I've heard that's more difficult of a journey than Everest potentially.
There you go. There's that for sure.
Right. But I'm also working on the Summit Challenge. You just go to the summitchallenge.com, thesummitchallenge.com.
Okay.
It's actually, I personally think it's the next stage, the next evolution of self-empowerment in online programs. Because in the past 50 or 60 years, you know, in the self-empowerment industry, you've always had this guru up on stage saying, you know, do this, and this, and this will be the result. That's not true for like 99% of the people. Right. And then you'll have people, and I've seen it, and I'm sure you've seen it too, all over social media. There's a guy or a girl walking around with their cell phone. So I just bought my new Lambo. Like, how many people does that speak to?
Right.
They're selling you a concept. Oh, I want that too. What you need to do is understand first that it's not the stuff that's going to make you feel happy. It's you. If you want to feel value and you want to have value in something, first you need to feel worthy. Right. So it starts with you. And then with the program, the Summit Challenge, it helps people it guides them on their own path to success based on their personal core values. So kind of exactly what I mentioned about helping people up Kilimanjaro. You know, everybody's motivated potentially by something different. And if you're trying to motivate yourself by someone else's goals and what he or she wants you to do, your motivation is going to fizzle in a couple months or even a couple days, maybe.
Right.
You know, this actually, it's not a, hey, I want to lose 15 pounds for a wedding next month. It's, I want to change my diet and my lifestyle so I become healthy forever. So this is the set of guidelines to help people understand and make mindful and conscious decisions surrounding what they value most.
That's awesome. And I hear you, because there are so many gurus that are out there pitching one thing or another, selling one thing or another, but to find a solution that's actually sustainable, you know, and that's aligned with yourself. It sounds like a win. What's the name? Where do people go for that once more?
Just go to thesummitchallenge.com, thesummitchallenge.com. And you know what? They get, I actually have it right here. They get this really, they get this really cool journal. And at the beginning of it is a core values assessment.
Awesome.
That I put together. And if you want to, I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but I'll send you the online version.
Okay.
You just go to, send me an email.
Yeah, no, I would love to. And what I think is so brilliant about this is that, as many of us know, that the body and the mind work as one. And so when you're able to do both, have, you know, a physical base for this mental and emotional work, like that's incredible. So, wow, what an incredible
Absolutely.
concept. You know, of everything that you do, you know, because of what you've overcome, you're able to lead and inspire by example. You've motivated so many through writing, speaking, adventuring, simply again, just by being here. Of all these ways that you share your story, is there a particular medium that you most enjoy? I'm just curious, like you in your mind, in your head, and in your world, is it the writing? Is it the speaking? Is it the actual physical adventuring? Is there one thing that really, or are they all just kind of samesies?
No, I think I was following where you're going with that. And I was picturing myself writing, I was picturing myself speaking. Mm-hmm. I think what means most to me is after I'm done speaking and I'm connecting with people. Mm. So like that one-on-one. And I know the presentation and my keynote talks have really helped a lot of people because they've told me, hey, this has changed my life. But there are a handful of people that I remember, and one of them in particular, I got done speaking and there was a queue of people waiting to speak with me. And I could see the lady behind me, or the lady next in the line, had been she was weeping. You know, her mascara was running down her face and everything. And when it was her turn, she came up and she just latched onto me, you know, just buried her face in my chest and just lost it. And I'm sitting here, you know, holding her, trying to choke back the tears, thinking to myself, okay, hold it together, keep it together, keep it together. You have to be strong. And when she composed herself, she kind of stepped back and she told me that in the process of in the last 6 months, she lost her husband to cancer, she lost her son to cancer, and she was diagnosed for the 3rd or 4th time with cancer.
What?
So, you know, I'm getting emotional talking about it. But she also told me that she had no intentions of going home, meaning she had pills, sleeping pills, and alcohol in her hotel room.
What?
Yeah. With a suicide note. So here she was telling me all this stuff, and I'm sitting here choking back the tears. And she told me that she convinced herself to go to one more presentation, one more talk, and it happened to be mine. And she told me that what I said spoke to her, and I saved her life.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that is incredible. I mean, you are such an incredible example of the power of a story, the power of sharing. And wow. Well, you know, had I known that this is the way this conversation was going to go, I wouldn't have worn mascara either. So, you know, There's
Yeah,
that.
well, it was difficult, to say the least. But everyone has a story. We have two ears and one mouth for a reason. We can learn from everybody on the planet because everybody has a different perspective. Even my mom is an identical twin, so even two identical twins can grow up in the same house. They have the same everything, but they have a different perspective on life because every single person, and you, like both of us, you are where you are in life because of every single little and big decision you've ever made in your past.
Mm-hmm.
So if people want to change where they are, who they are, change what you do, make more conscious decisions based on those personal core values. So if you're just going on cruise control, if you're just on cruise control and you're not making conscious decisions, you're going to continue getting what you've been getting in the past.
Right.
Right. But if you start paying attention to things, you can choose how you want your future to become or how you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can write your own story.
Right. Well, the story that you've written and that you continue to write is a beautiful one, is an empowering one. Do you look back now and it's always one of those situations when you're faced with something as serious as you were, terminal cancer. Are you thankful for that now? I'm just thinking about, like, do you ever think about it? Do you ever think about my life? I would not be here had it not been for this.
Absolutely.
Or do you take it as a blessing of sorts, or how do you look at about that?
So I personally think that cancer was the worst thing that's ever happened to me,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's given me a perspective that most people don't have, and I don't want them to have that perspective.
Okay.
Going through what I had to go through. I was read my last rites. I was in a medically induced coma for a year. And like I said earlier, I was given 14 days to live. I have one functioning lung.
Mm-hmm.
So do I see it as something that hinders me? No. Do I see it as something that empowers me? Absolutely, because of the lessons I've seen from it. Right. And the lessons I've learned from it. And I also think anyone who's going through anything traumatic, like the world right now is in such an uncertain time.
Yes.
Because we don't know what's going to happen. But there were nights I went to bed not knowing if I was going to wake up the next morning. That's uncertainty.
Yes. Right. To the most ridiculous degree. For sure. Well, I just can't thank you enough for taking this time. I know you've got some things to get to, but thank you for getting to this conversation and for sharing of yourself and for sharing as you have for so many. Thank you for showing us the power of a story, and excited to take you up on that Kilimanjaro. So
Absolutely. And I hope my background at least made somebody feel warmer.
Oh, it made me feel warmer. I woke up the other day, like I told you, it was quite funny when I reached out to you the other day and I was like, oh, it's like -1 outside, negative temperatures are nonsensical.
Right.
I loved your response. Like, yeah, it was like -80. I'm just like, well, and that's cold too. Yeah.